I don't really know how to start off this video or go about it in any way whatsoever, but it's about me quitting my job and what the future looks like. Now, my job is more of a career, but it doesn't matter. I've been doing it for 4 years and I'm about to be done. And I have nothing else lined up. And it's so hard to explain to anybody this decision. From the outside, I can clearly see how it seems like it's a decision a naive 22-year-old is making. But it's a decision 4 years in the making. It's a decision to live a life, a great life, not just an okay life. It's a decision and service to live a life true to myself instead of a life I'm supposed to live. It's a decision to try and do something with this short time that I have here. It's a decision to try to figure out what I would be in best service to. It's a decision to try to find meaning. It's a decision that will hopefully help me not meet my deathbed bitter. Bitter with the realization that I never tried, that I never took a risk, that I never looked for more, that I played it safe and I settled for okay. It's a decision in service to a great life instead of an okay life. And it's a decision based on a hunch that I'm meant for more and I'm meant to be in service to something more. So the future will be a lot more videos. I plan on traveling the world, so hopefully videos where I'm in different countries and yeah, and I really want to I really just want more out of life. And to not go for that is a disservice to oneself. To not try and live a life you would love to live over again is a disservice to yourself. To just live a safe, mediocre, average existence is not what I want. And not not something bad. It's okay if that's what you want. Everyone's different. If you want to just play it safe and take it easy, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you don't want to and you want more out of life, then you can't follow the herd. You can't follow the crowd because they'll never lead you down the path you want to walk. And it's so hard, even in a video like this, to truly express why I'm making this decision. But if you really want to know why, I'd give you a homework assignment. And I'd say you have to watch my 225 plus YouTube videos. You have to have a conversation with me for a couple hours. You have to understand who I am and what I want out of life. And as this decision is slowly unraveling, a lot of people ask me, what am I going to do? And, I give them the Cliff Notes version because, I mean, yeah, I just, it's something 4 years in the making. And then someone's like, hey, why are you doing this? Go. And don't make it too long. And it's like, Well, I mean, I don't like my job. I want more out of life and I want to travel the world. You know, that's basically the Cliff Notes version. And that sounds like a choice that a naive kid would make. And I don't really care what other people think, but that's the classic for me as well. I don't care what people think, but I just wish they thought this. If you find yourself doing that, which I do all the time, you care what other people think, which is unfortunate, but I'm right there with you. But it's just like I wish people understood that it's a decision 4 years in the making. It's a decision that is hard. It's a decision that my brain cannot allow me to make. Only my heart can. And taking the risk to listen to that, listen to your intuition. That's what it's about. I got to follow a hunch. You know, Steve Jobs said in his famous commencement speech at Stanford, what did he say? You must listen to your intuition. It somehow knows who you want to become. Yeah, you must have the courage to listen to your intuition because it somehow knows what you want to become. My intuition is telling me to do this, and it's in service to that. And in service to trying to live a life I want to live and do things I want to do and actually enjoy my life and not just be content with my life. So, with that all being said, you will be seeing a lot more videos because I do really enjoy doing these. And it goes along lines with the things that I enjoy. I enjoy reading and reading about things that I talk about, essentially. And I enjoy writing and I talk about the things I write about. And I feel like sometimes my information is good and could help somebody. And that's really, I just want to help people. And I don't even know why I really wanted to make this video because it's kind of like, it's kind of like, oh, a 22-year-old's quitting his job. Wow. First, first guy ever, huh? But it's a more of a career, which is kind of makes it scarier. And also, I have a lot of self-doubt, so it's hard to talk myself out of settling for mediocre. Or not even mediocre, but just average. But besides the point, um, if you're in a position where you want to take a leap, I'd urge you to do it and to really think about what matters. You know, it's not the things you did that you're going to regret. It's the things you didn't do. And that's a big reason why I'm doing this. Because I will die bitter if I, work this job for 40 years and 30 years and retire and am upper middle class and, leave I'll always ask, what if? What if I just took that chance at 22 and met great people, found great meaning and purpose, found a passion, learned learned great life skills? I don't want to say what if. And if you find yourself in a position not wanting to say what if too, I urge you to just go for it. Just go for it. And it feels good. And then it feels scary. But you can't let the fear stop you. a life governed by fear is not a life worth living. And this is what you really must remember. Where there is risk, there is opportunity. Where there is no risk, there is no opportunity. And it seems fairy tale-esque to say that the universe is on your side once you start following your dreams. And I'm sure there's plenty of people out there that can say that that's not true. But there's other people out there that say that is true. But I just think when you start following your heart, your intuition, things just work out. If your goal is worthy, the universe is on your side. So get a worthy goal and go for it. And if you don't have it all figured out, I mean, I try to remind myself that's all right, but sometimes I don't feel like that. But I'll stress to you guys that it's all right. And another thing too is ever since I got this job, I wanted to quit, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I felt like it was better than working at McDonald's. So, I kept the job. And in the last 4 years, it was really a wake-up call because of how much I hated it. I was like, I got to start doing something, dude. So my goal before I figured out what it was I wanted to do was to build my character and to build myself. That was my goal. Because I thought, well, if I don't know what I want to do, I can at least prepare myself for when that day comes. I can at least be ready for when the opportunity arises. I can be prepared so I don't have to get prepared. Once an opportunity arises, it's too late to be prepared. You have to be ready. So that was my goal, to build a character, to build habits, to build a work ethic, to build the character, to be able to, once I figure it out, go. And that's what I've done the last 3 years. Because right when I first started I wasn't building character. It took me a little bit to really wake up. But the last 3 years, I'd say, I've really been devoted to that. And it shows, I believe. And now I do truly feel like I am in a position where once it does come, I'll be good. And a part of me wants it to be this. I enjoy this a lot. But I'm still in other avenues trying to figure it out. Because, I don't know, maybe I should put all my eggs in one basket, but I don't know. I spent a lot of time doing this stuff. So, because it is along the lines of what I really enjoy. But at the end of the day, something of this nature is so dependent on external forces. So, I try not to just put it all in this basket. And the basket being, making YouTube videos and making content of this nature. But I think it's so valuable to realize that meaning is the goal. Finding out what you truly want to devote your life to is the goal. And you're going to die. Everything goes to zero. And that can either make you despair or it can give you hope. Hope to take the risk because in the end, you're going to die anyways. Whether you die chasing your dreams or you die working an office job for 50 years, you're buried in the same ground that Alexander the Great was buried, that Confucius was buried in, that the pharaohs were buried in. I guess they were buried in tombs, but you know what I mean. You know, you're buried in the same ground as all these people, so it's like, I can either make you despair, but to me, it gives me courage to just go for it, to just live a life true to myself. Because why not? Why not go for it and try to make something out of this life? And I'm not suggesting that everyone needs to just go and quit their job and start doing random stuff. But if you're in a position where you got a hunch, go for it. Who cares? At least you'll know. I'd rather know than say what if for the rest of my life. And that's really what it comes down to. And you can make that decision for yourself, but I'm sure you're I'm sure you'd rather I'm sure you'd rather know than say, what if? What if I lived a life true to myself? If I went for it? If I gave it my all? If I really tried? If I took risks? If I didn't live a life governed by fear? And traveling the world for me is like, it's kind of my scapegoat, because it's like it's the only way my brain can come into the equation and be like, yeah, it's a good idea. Which is like, because I always like I really do want to travel the world. And to me it's like no better time than when I'm young with no responsibilities. And that's when my brain can like sign off on the approval. But really that's just a cope, because that's really just a cope for like wanting to pursue a dream. Because as so many of the greats have said, well, I'll just take Ralph Waldo Emerson for example. He says a fool's paradise is traveling, or traveling is a fool's paradise. And I've done some traveling. I've done road trips across the United States and into Canada, and spent a lot of time traveling. And it truly is a fool's paradise. Truly is a fool's paradise. I mean, it's fun, but to live to travel, I don't know. To live for the weekend, like to live for that small time you have off. No. My goal is to have an average Tuesday be my dream day. Not that month a year I get to go travel, or the weekend when I get to go do this, or like, no. My goal is to have an average Tuesday in November be my dream day. Get up, go do what I want to do with people I want to do it with, in service to people that I want to help. That's the goal. But I mean, seeing the world would be cool. I have a world map on my wall. And yeah, I want to see it. But I don't want to I don't think that's my purpose or my meaning for life. I think truly the meaning of life is, well, I think you give it meaning. I am of the belief that life has no inherent meaning other than what you provide it. And I think this is so obvious. It's not obvious, but when you look around, it makes sense. For example, I was watching this documentary about an octopus, like my octopus teacher. And this guy, he was down bad. Like, he was depressed. He had a kid, he had a wife, his life was cool, but he was just depressed. And how common is that? And found this octopus, and he started recording it, and it became friends with him, and that gave his life meaning. Like, how random is that? How random is the fact that an octopus saved you from a depression? And I'm not making fun of the guy. I actually really like that documentary, and the guy seemed really cool. But it's just, to me, that proved, like, yeah, the meaning of life is to give life meaning. Even an octopus can give you meaning. Even an octopus that lives a year, that you spend every day visiting, can bring you out of this deep depression. That woke me up a bit. The fact, because I always, like, there's like the quote, like Viktor Frankl, the meaning of life is to give life meaning. And I'm like, oh, that's good. But I'm like, I don't know. But seeing that, it's like, oh, fuck. Maybe it really is. That's another thing too. Like, I mean, this is kind of in service to finding meaning. But I already understand the meaning of life is to give life meaning. It's so hard to put into words, this decision. And it's kind of weird that I'm making a video about it. I'm sure not a lot of people are watching this, especially to this point. This is a long video. But, like, I already know that. It's so hard to put this decision into words because it's so deep. I don't even fully understand. And like, the best way to sum it up is, I got an intuition, and I'm acting on a hunch. And, like, how how that's pretty hard to say when I basically almost made six figures last year. And you're like, oh, why are you quitting? Like, you must have something great lined up. Intuition and a hunch. But it's like, if you're not satisfied with your life, which I wasn't. I kind of am now because I'm not working right now, but I've been chilling. But it's not even the fact that I'm not working. Like, I'm not sitting around all day being lazy. Like, I'm grinding in my own way. Making these videos, reading. Well, like, yeah, I'm just grinding. Like, I started yesterday, and I've already made like 8, 9 videos, or maybe not that many, but like 6 to 8. And you'll see those sporadically, but um, yeah, it feels way better than what I was doing. And it's also hard to make the videos. Before, like, I always wanted to just work, do this on the side, and then, if it took off, it took off. But it's so hard. Like, I've spent, like, I don't even know, like 7 hours today thinking, not even reading, just thinking and writing. Like, I don't just, like, it's kind of hard to make these videos. Like, if you actually watch my channel, you actually got this far. Like, a lot of the videos aren't just like off. They are off the dome. They're all off the top of my head. But I think about what I talk about, like, a lot. Like, without sounding like narcissistic, like, I'm a pretty deep thinker, and I think a lot about the things I make videos on. So while I'm like, because I would work like 50, 60 hours a week, while I'm doing that, it's like, it's kind of hard to devote a lot of time to thinking and, like, posting videos. But now it's like, the first, it's like I was already like 8 hours into the day, and it's all I've done today. Walks, which I just are devoted to thinking, writing, which is devoted to the videos I'm going to make, making the videos, editing them, so on and so forth. It's like, it takes time. It's hard to just do it while doing something else. I don't know how I got off on that tangent, but like, I kind of started this video off too. It's like, I don't really know where to start, and I don't know where to end, and I don't really know why I'm making this video. But you actually care about my channel, um, you'll like to know that there's going to be a lot more videos, and probably videos in other countries, and probably cool things. And maybe you'd like to know that I'm practicing what I preach. Because if you watch my videos, I talk about, you know, going into the fear, you know, trusting oneself, living a life true to yourself. And as I've made all those videos, I was battling, because all the videos are truly just made for myself. And if I have the problem, I like to think I'm not Mr. Only person in the world who has these problems. I believe other people probably do too. So I like to kind of make the video to help out maybe another person having the problem. So yeah, I'm practicing what I preach now. And hopefully, I don't know, this gives you courage to go pursue a dream, pursue a passion, take a chance, take a risk. Maybe listen to your heart instead of your head. I've said it before, the river of wisdom will flow when you start thinking with your heart and feeling with your head. Maybe it's time you do that. Maybe you've thought too much with your head. As David Foster Wallace said, the brain or the mind is a great servant, but a horrible master. And that's a deep quote. And then he talks about how, people who kill themselves always shoot themselves in the head because their brain is torturing them. If your brain's torturing you, and this is another reason why I think solitude is so important. Because if you're doing something wrong, if you're not living in accordance with your nature, if your soul is mad at you for how you were living, you won't escape it. And like you won't escape it if you spend a day in solitude. It'll be clear to you all the stuff that you're doing wrong, especially if you do it while writing, to really funnel those thoughts into one area. You'll be clear. I think it'll become clear to you why you feel the way you feel. And I think a very important thing to remember is that once you figure out why you're quote unquote depressed, taking the action is still scary. Change is always going to be scary. There's the people who are in like abusive relationships and they know it's bad. They know they got to leave. They know it, but they just can't. Because change is scary. The unknown is scary. It's scary. So just because you figure out what is ruining your life doesn't mean you just all the courage to get it out of your life is instantly summoned. It takes discipline and it takes dedication and it takes time. And I mean, it's taken me 4 years, which is, I mean, it's happened in good time. Let's just say that it's happening at a good time. But yeah, like I said, don't really know why I made this video. Kind of, I guess, for the reason I make all my videos, to get something off my head and try to help you guys. Hopefully. Hopefully, the latter. Definitely the former. Listen to your heart and intuition. They somehow know what you want to become.